help screen every time. It's Hasturilla here again, and we're back with EVE Online. We're going to be continuing through the tutorials. Again, I think that for at least a little while, we're mostly going to be here to help newbies. I think actually soon, I think a whole country is about to kind of get access to EVE Online. I believe Japan, I think, is going to have EVE Online become available to them in December. I think sometime this December, which is this month, but if you're watching this in the future, if somehow you're watching this at some other time, hello, or the past, I don't know, you never know. But we're going the EVE Online, I think, is coming to Japan, I think, in just a little bit. So I think it's appropriate that we still are in kind of doing kind of the newbie area, kind of giving you a good idea of how long it really kind of takes to go through all the newbie stuff, whether you think it's long, short, or whatever. You kind of get a good amount. Now, I think there's a lot of guests here today, so I think a lot of people are starting off new. Now, if you remember correctly, we're in a corporation with an RP corporation that we're doing for this story, which is it's supposed to be Omer Lukason's brother, right? He's supposed to be that he's joining up with this company. So just that I wanted to get a little refresher out of the way before we continued. Either way, we're moving on to industry. So we got the drop-off location. So I believe that this is actually when it's just to pick something up and drop it off, which should be easy enough. Okay, so go ahead and accept that. So once it's to drop off, it just wants us to drop off. Excuse me. Creative Electronics, which I believe they're going to give it to us right here. There you go. So we can throw that in our inventory. Now this is going to be close to distribution. Forgot I can drop it through this way. Now this is going to be kind of that distribution career path. And while we're actually flying, I think I've already probably covered the dangers of autopilot enough last episode, but or last time we did it, but just in case you weren't there for that, I'm going to kind of briefly explain that you don't really want to autopilot when you can help it, because oftentimes people will generally cause problems with that, because with autopilot you spawn, I think, 10 kilometers or maybe even greater than that. You spawn a distance away from the jump, whereas warp to zero, you're right on it. And I believe if you just click jump, right, or something like that, you're like within even less distance than that. So let's go ahead and jump. There you go. So you can jump pretty much right immediately as soon as you get there. There are ways to do this with hotkeys, but right now it's easier when I'm talking to do the mouse rather than having to think about all the hotkeys at the same time. I like to press this little icon thing here, and it makes it a lot easier to me. Now, actually, one thing I wanted to point out, actually, I play Star Citizen 2, and maybe we could even do a stream on Star Citizen a little bit. But I don't know. Anyone else think this looks like the Vulture, the concept art from for the Vulture out of Star Citizen? I might be the only one who thinks that, but not so much this part. Like, this part is something like, if this was just all yellow, right? This part is almost the actual body of the craft is very, very similar. But they may have both kind of taken a little bit of inspiration from Homeworld, so maybe both of them are willing to kind of look the other way, because both of them kind of, I mean, if you ask me though, the Homeworld had a craft very similar to just the body of this. That was a mining, like it was like a little like thing that could go mine. Then EVE Online kind of had these on top that was different, and then the Vulture of Star System, which isn't in the game yet, it's just in concept art. So obviously, I really couldn't say that they totally copied them. It's just concept art. They could definitely change things, but this is what changes the little arms, but not so much the body of it. So I don't know. Someone might know more about the design of that than I do. Oop, jump. These little icons, if you're going to warp to something, press the second one. You just warp to 0. So like this here, warp within 0. Oftentimes it will have the first thing selected, and if you click icons, normally it's going to be your selected path that's going to be on top. So that's why I like to do that. I like to press icon, divide by icon for that very reason. Let's jump again. Oop, just looking at activity tracker. I think that the most of these missions are basically, oh, there's been a wreck. That's not good. Warp within 0. It's a rookie ship. You know what, one thing we didn't do, which is basically a cardinal sin in EVE Online, is we haven't checked the amount of people who were destroyed locally. And if you haven't seen that before, I'll do that in a second. So we can, and then jump straight to dock. There's a bookmark thing. There's a bookmark idea about doing like bookmarks and everything, but I really don't. There's some setup involved with bookmarking and stuff like that, which a lot of people will show you to use the bookmarks. Sometimes they don't always explain how to set them. There's ways of setting bookmarks, but honestly, in these starter missions, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Generally, you're not really in something good enough to escape. Something that, you know, if they really wanted to get you as a starter, so you're better off just trying to get through the starter missions, get your stuff, and just follow basic safety. Because you probably have never been to these locations before, so you wouldn't really have the ability to do everything that you could have done to protect yourself oftentimes. So don't really take it too hard on yourself on trying to be too oh, you know what, one thing we didn't do, which should have been a common sense thing, I forgot. Oh, no, not personal assets. It is oh, the quest journal. Hold on. Journal. Or no, it is assets. And let's go Acavanius and set destination. And then now that we set destination, we can then warp to 0 and do stuff like that. So I know some people would be like super hotkey focused, but there's only so much I can. I don't know what it is with streaming, but I don't like with streaming and hotkeying. I just don't like doing both at the same time. I'll do hotkeys outside of it, but I think it's because I kind of have my microphone on my left side, and so I would have to do a lot of the keyboarding with my left hand, and it's kind of blocked a little bit. So I think that's just where a little bit of discomfort comes in. Well, we can see who crashed, though. Remains of a ship. It's a rookie ship. He might not have been a rookie, though. Just because he's just flying a rookie ship. Okay, so let's warp within 0 of the gate. Now, this cloak only lasts as long as... Now, don't get that cloak mixed up with the cloak device. There's a cloaking device. That is not a cloaking device, but that is right there. That's basically when you warp. I think it's just because it's just the basic of online game. But since there's a server time and everything like that, that cloak is kind of a way of balancing it. So it's not the people who are so close to the server that get all the bonuses. But it lasts as long as you do not move. So that's another reason why autopilot can really mess you up, because you'll start it'll start moving before your cloak is up. Your free cloak is up, and you'll not do it the most efficient way possible. So in an ideal world, autopilot should be generally a good idea, but EVE Online is anything but an ideal world. Because you got a mixture. I think I already explained in the other we call it stream. You've got a mixture of people wanting to blow you up just for using autopilot, and also people just or doing like setting up gate camps and stuff like that to blockade an area, and them expecting people who are doing autopilot and kind of building their camp around people doing autopilot to take advantage of that they're not at the seat, that they're not at the seat, to kind of bump them or do other things that can mess them up. So play safe in that regard. Don't unless you really don't care what you're in, which that could have been what happened with the guy with the rookie ship. Because here's a little tip for you: if you're wanting to travel a great distance, right, a really big distance, and you have no if you don't have any bionics equipped, right? If you have nothing equipped that would improve or cybernetics, not bionics, but cybernetics, right? If you have no cybernetics equipped, just flies like your Corvette. Get in your Corvette, your starter Corvette, and just fly right to that place. If they blow you up, you've lost nothing. Now, if you care about kill mail in this game, then that's not necessarily the option that you can go with. You'll want to try to be safer, probably flying something that might be able to make it, and then even if someone tries to come after you, and then set up jump clones. But if you really don't care about it, if you're not someone who really obsesses over kill mail or something like that in the game, then that to me is hands down the easiest thing, is to just set up autopilot, come back, and then go, oh, hey, this worked or didn't work. Because as someone who I think that was in order to go, I don't think I ever autopiloted across the galaxy, but I think I recommended someone to do it and it worked. As someone who's recommended someone else to do it, generally you'll be okay as long as you avoid code, and then you just know which parts of the. So when you look at the map, you know when to be back and sitting in your seat. If you really want to do autopilot, look at anywhere that has a yellow rather than gray on the escape pods destroyed. Main reason I do escape pods is that normally means players, because AI will typically not destroy escape pods unless they're trying to they're kind of trying to be smart about how they're gate camping and trying to not give away that it's players. They might not destroy your pod. And honestly, it's kind of silly, people who destroy pods, because it gives you away. It gives it away. If you ask me, if you're trying to gate camp, don't destroy pods. Destroy ships, sure. But if you destroy pods, we know you're there. We know you're there. It's on the, it's on the map. It's going to show up. If you destroy a pod, that means a player killed somebody, or a person got themselves killed somehow in a pod, right? It's not a mystery how you died if you died in a pod. We call it somebody killed you, or you try to kill someone else and then you got podded somehow. There is exceptions, but generally, if you see pod deaths, trust me, it's not a mystery at that point. We can see pod death there. See some safe areas. One pod killed. Generally, to me, one pod killed is dangerous, period. One ship killed is not necessarily dangerous. So if we switch over to, where is it? Excuse me. Ships destroyed last 22 hours. You see how the 7 ships? You go, oh my gosh, that place must be really dangerous. Not really. It's very likely. 155 ships. If you were looking at that, you'd be probably like, heck, no, I'm not going there. 155 ships. I can't believe it. That's a ton of ships. Well, guess what? That's basically everyone doing the tutorial. In advanced military, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but in advanced military, there's 2 different missions that require your ship to get destroyed. So that just means that basically, math is failing me right now. It basically means that I'm trying to think of 150 divided. So 75 people, right? Definitely did both missions, right? 75 people did both missions, right? And then some people did, and then a little bit more did a few missions, right? Like 5 people did half of them, right? He did one, but hadn't done the other yet. So don't think that is an entirely, and that is an entirely misleading statistic that would lead you to believe that this place is much more dangerous than it really is. You'd go, oh man, this start area is absolutely deadly, but if you were to go here, look at escape pods destroyed, it's virtually nobody. It's basically nobody. So don't immediately jump to it. Hold on, let me check. Okay, oh, you may have heard a temporary laugh there real quick because I checked the audio and it was, I think it came in right when I was laughing. Because I got a delay on my stream, but okay, so don't immediately assume that you are in grave danger just because of ship kills. Pod kills are the giveaway. If people do pod kills, you know. And to be honest, I still, to this day, have not understood why people blow pods up. Generally, you might get cybernetics. I don't know if you're entirely sure you can get cybernetics from pods. I've heard you could. I haven't done that much piracy, so I really couldn't tell you. So, let's go back to the industry career. We're going to get cap boosters. He's going to let us try to make cap boosters. We're going to just buy them off the market to be fast, but you could do it. You could build it in the industry tab just by dragging your blueprint. It's taking a second. You could just drag your blueprint. There we go. And you can make a bunch, right? We're just going to buy them off the market. How many do we need, though? We need 20 of them. Market details. Don't try to make sure you don't get scammed though, price-wise. Make sure that you watch the price, because as you can see, that probably for the very reason of why he said prices are higher in station. I think probably just because they realize that people are going to be willing to pay higher just for the convenience of skipping that quest. So, and you're going to get paid more than it costs to get it. So it's basically they're like, well, we know you're getting paid for this, so we're going to charge you more because we know that we can. Or it's going to look like a good deal to you. So in this case, except since it pays you literally more than almost every other mission in the entire lineup, it's okay. Even if they're price gouging you, because they're not price gouging you nearly enough to counteract your rewards. Okay, now we need to just drop off those camp boosters at another place. I'm not going to even bother equipping some of the things they have because we're jumping point to point. Something with alignment would matter more. So this is actually something I screwed up with when I started. Is I thought I needed to be the fastest traveling ship ever, right? I needed to have all this extra stuff and fly really fast, right? Not really important when you're warping or jumping. If you're freighting stuff, it's not the most important thing in the world unless you're doing autopilot. And if you're doing autopilot, you're in danger already. You really shouldn't be a freighter. You really shouldn't be a freighter if you're doing autopiloting. And that sounds like a really bold statement, but the reason why I say it is because it means that you're gambling with your main income in the game, and with collateral as high as it is, your collateral could be in the billions, right? You could only make like $1 million from a mission, right? And then you could be you could make only a few million, and then you had to put up billions, right? To even do the mission. And not to mention that it could be a scam anyway. They could be trying to it could be a gank contract in which they're trying to scam you. So it is such a bad idea to be a career freighter with autopilot. It is not that you might be able to do it fine, right? But it at one hand, there's an element of where it's just sheer luck if you're able to get away with it. It's either you're just traveling a path that nobody travels. Now, if you set your path early on with the map, right, and you go, well, nobody's died along that path, and I only take contracts where that happens, maybe you can get away with it. But if you ask me, that like, autopilot and career freighting do not mix. Because somebody is going to take advantage that they believe you're not there. Even if you are there, they're going to feel safer to attack you because they're going to think that you're not there, right? So you might get in a fight you might not have otherwise be able to be in, right? And they may have avoided fighting you, thinking that, oh, well, if you're sitting there, if you're warping and doing everything yourself, then maybe you're smart. You could get around me, you could mess me up, and I could end up getting blown up, right? By the police or something in here, Concord, right? Okay, Calderi shuttle. They went to Calderi shuttle, but we need to go back to the location real quick. Hold on. Okay, so set destination. It's just saying the activities. You don't need to worry about that. All right, so let's undock. So yeah, don't fall for trying to save effort in whatever you're gonna in freighting, because in freighting I think honestly the cost is too high. But other people, they like to gamble, and I've seen a few people successfully like sit in like multi-box freighters, right? I've watched other people multi-box freighters and have them all on autopilot, but they're still sitting there watching it. So if they needed to, if they felt like they were going through somewhere dangerous, they could do something about it. I wouldn't recommend just walking away from it unless like you've got friends that are watching your back. Whoop, there is definitely a... Is he close to us? He's 17 kilometers. Giga Pepper. Whoever Giga Pepper is. Actually, I do kind of wish that they had some kind of feature for streaming in which you could... Because I know they do this with Sea of Thieves, where you can actually hide the names. As cool as it is to see, like, to be able to see people like that are in the stream and everything, I think it's sometimes a good idea to kind of have a way of kind of hiding the tag. That way, if someone's saying something and they could be saying something out of context, that's why I keep the chat closed, because someone could say something out of context and then have something bad come up, and then they're gonna feel terrible, and it's just, if you ask me, like generally having some way of protecting the innocent, so to speak. There you go. I've even seen it, like some people like so generally, like, some people cover it up. You really can't do that very well in a live format. I guess you could. But I've seen games have that feature before. Just give them like a fake name or something like that. I know Sea of Thieves does that, so it gives them a kind of fake, like, piratey sounding name. Let's accept that mission. It's gonna say, hey, we want you to carry this ship that's too big. Don't worry about it. You're just delivering it to this very station. Once you go in and build with the blueprint, the Calderi shuttle with the blueprint here, we're not gonna worry about that. We're good. We're good there. We're not gonna worry about trying to build that. We're just gonna buy it. So it's gonna be a good day for someone selling Calderi shuttles. So let's do Calderi shuttles. Maybe hold on. Let's do shuttle. Oh, 3 T's. Caldari. I keep doing Caldari with E's. Caldari. Dirt cheap here. Someone is selling it for absolute dirt cheap here. That's good. And selling one. Wow, friend, thank you for that. I don't know who was selling it for one, but that saved a lot of money. I mean, shuttles aren't all that expensive anyway, but that was pretty cool. So that means we can make and complete the mission. Did I buy it from? I have a bad feeling I bought it from another somewhere in the system. And we have a Caldera shuttle. What's wrong with this? I'm missing something. Oop. Mission we need to deliver to mission thing. When we're at the drop-off location, complete mission. To complete the mission, please check your journal. Don't. Let me guess. I have to. Is it where I have to do the? If I have to build it, that'd be a real shame. I think that might be one of the ones I have to build. Yeah, don't bother buying it from the market. It needs to be manufactured by you. Oh man, we messed up there. There you go. I totally forgot about that. And we do not have enough tritium, so we're just gonna buy the tritium. Oh no, that is 4 jumps away. So advanced. Let's see. Range station. How much do we need? I'm just gonna buy the exact amount we need. Hold on. So 2,640. The exact amount it would take to build the shuttle. 2,640. Immediate station. Oh, it's still below regional price, so whatever. That still works for us. I have a bad feeling we did buy it somewhere else, though. Or maybe I have to just refresh it. Hold on. Let's go back in here. Let's go to market details. Okay, let's buy 2,640. Maybe just put out a contract and it ended. Okay, that time I actually sent money. Okay. So let's start that. So that's going to only be 4 minutes. So we need to find something to do for 4 minutes. We could do another mission from someone else in that amount of time. So let's think about another mission we can do. We can do a business career mission real quick. So let's go ahead and start doing a business mission career. Okay, so see, we're talking about collateral, but normally it's not that big of a reward compared to collateral. Maybe for missions, they have a good amount of pay for collateral, but not for player contracts, which are going to be where you could get your bulk of your money. Data sheets, let's throw that in here, into our venture. Let's undock. We don't actually have to be here for it to continue building, so this is probably the best use of time, rather than waiting around while that's building. Set destination. And let's warp within 0.
Warp drive active.
Now, also, one other trick. Don't equip multiple afterburners if you can't use multiple afterburners at a time. Because you can only really use one afterburner on... you only use really one afterburner, so you're not going to be able to make your venture just absolutely have 5 afterburners on it and be able to activate it all, because it's not going to work like that. Some things don't stack, and other things stack, but then with diminishing effect, and some things stack perfectly. So keep that in mind, because that was another mistake I made early on, was throw a ton of really expensive afterburners, and I realized I couldn't use them. Only one could be used at a time. Hoping to help you guys out. I'm hoping to help all you out so that you don't make the same mistakes I did starting out. Everyone's made different mistakes, Fortunately, I've been pretty good at map watching and stuff like that. So I haven't had so much trouble in that problem. But I have made mistakes with purchasing, what to purchase, when to purchase it,
Docking
dock,
permission
there you go,
requested.
and stuff like that. So
Docking request accepted.
that's a good thing to keep in mind. I thought we warped within 0. Oh, yeah, I guess we did. It's just taking a while to dock. Okay. Now let's go ahead and set destination from in here. Then undock. Security missions can be pretty cool. Just watch out about your pirate reputation. Now, also, if you want to be a pirate, if you want to help pirates, if you want to help NPC pirates, you kind of have to know early, because you will absolutely trash your reputation with them through missions, right? Through security missions, and even through some of the starter missions, right? There is a limit to where they will actually start attacking you in their space. Now, all pirates I know of, I believe, hang out in low sec space, and I'm talking about NPC pirate factions like the Garistas and stuff like that. So if you want to be if you want to play a Garista pirate or something like that, or play a Serpentis, we call it a person who helps the Serpentis Corporation or something like that. You have to kind of catch onto that early and head to low sec and start dealing with them there, because otherwise you're going to probably ruin your reputation before you ever have a chance of meeting them. So if we go to standings, character, and I think it's standings, or no, is it under interactions? There it goes. So as you can see, Galente's not really very fond of. Well, they're a little bit peeved with us, but you want to watch out. Also, doing security missions will make other like Galente Federation and the Minmatar like you less. There's the Sisters of Eve starter missions, or not starter missions, but Epic Arc, which I believe is one of those ones I mentioned about last time, about kind of protected for newbies. If you're the first 30 days of playing, they generally want people to not really jump on you, because it's one of those things where you haven't really kind of figured out how dangerous the world you stepped into. It won't stop people from doing it. You might be safer just because people, but I don't even think most people even know they're not really supposed to jump on you. That's the funny part, is I think most people don't even realize that they're not supposed to ambush you within the first 30 days in the starter areas. So I would not take that as a I'm safe situation. Oh, it actually wants us to go to Imoca. That's funny, because I've been there before. Difference at Imoca, has pyroxers and plagioclase sometimes, which can be useful for someone starting out. It's not necessarily, it's a dead end, so there are good things and bad things with setting yourself up in the dead end. If you want to freight stuff, well, guess what? If you are someone who's very prominent, for freighting stuff, you're gonna have a lot of people sitting at that Omoka gate, going, "It's about to be good business." There's one way in, one way out. So be careful setting up in dead ends. And also, a lot of ratters like to go to dead ends. So people chasing ratters might just chase you vicariously. They might just get around to you and they go, "Oh well, you're here." So this wants us to drop something. Just drop something off in Imoca. Okay. Or no, pick something up. It wants us to pick something up, doesn't it? Yeah, it wants to pick something up and bring it back here. Oh no, it wants us to salvage. Oh no, it wants us to salvage. I'm totally on the wrong thing. It wants us to salvage. So let's go ahead and fit a salvager on this. Which might sound a little funny doing that, but oh, we can. Okay, never mind. I didn't realize I could do that on I never actually tried to. I always figured a salvager required. For some reason, I always keep thinking it takes a turret slot. Because the miner takes a turret slot. So I keep forgetting the salvager doesn't need to take a turret slot. I don't know why that always kind of slips my mind. Oh, there we go. Got we call it a freighter. Speaking of, a Galente freighter. So that guy's been around, or he's bought it. I think the Galente freighter is one I see a lot of people like. I think just because a lot of people have a hard time with the Caldari one's so slow. Caldari one has a really high cargo capacity compared to the other tier 1s and tier 1 industrials, but it's got really slow speed when it comes to in-system speed. And a lot of people starting out do autopilot, and so in-system speed really kind of matters a great deal. Now, if you notice a lot of people with their suspect tags, they're not going to get attacked by the security, because that means that they basically opened something that they weren't supposed to open. Someone put a secure container and they went and opened it, or someone blew up and they mined their they mined or salvaged the ship. Salvaged the ship they weren't supposed to salvage. They did something they weren't supposed to do, but not something that would be obvious necessarily. So they'll have a suspect tag, and so they're probably like, "Oh no, what do I do? I have a suspect tag. I don't know what to do. What does that mean?" And so they're you never know. So that, or they knew what a suspect tag is, and they really just didn't care. I wouldn't recommend going around with a suspect tag, however, because that just basically means someone could shoot you for free. Someone could just absolutely just start attacking you, and have every right to attack you, according to Concord. But normally, I wouldn't jump. I wouldn't. As much as it could be kind of fun to hunt down suspects, I wouldn't recommend doing it in a newbie area, because very likely you're attacking a newbie, and then I think that wouldn't be fun for anybody. However, if you're outside of a newbie area and you run into suspects, and you don't, and you look at them and they look like they should know better, feel free to hunt them down. Let's warp to location. And by all means, because that's one thing I want to get more into, is hunting down suspects, especially with Omer here. Or Omar. Okay, let's go and approach the gate and then activate the gate. I think we just need to activate it, but that's fine. Worst case scenario, if something does try to come after us while we're salvaging, we do have 2 drones. And as far as like, see, like a Grease says rookie, it's not going to be that big a deal. Hollow asteroid, nothing good to mine. Kind of hoping that, they have some stuff here, but it's Veldspar, which is, useful to mine, but we're not going to worry about Veldspar on the stream. And this, this isn't really our mining guy. So let's lock target and throw. Oh, not our miner, our salvager at it. Oh, we're not quite close enough yet. Let's turn on and let's orbit. Because that way, the way that kind of tracking works is it works on lateral motion. I think this is lateral motion. It's funny because I actually had someone told me who watched somebody else, so I'm not exactly sure. But about this one, I just know from I've heard is generally. Okay, so now let's release the drones, launch the drones, and then lock target on him, and then have the drones do their thing. Engage target. Engage target. I think drone ships, a lot of riders like drone ships. Personally, I've never really understood why drone ships were all that popular. I mean, they're not really any less, at least to me, I never found them any less minutia, so to speak. Or I always find them being harder to micromanage for me personally. I like drone ships. Don't get me wrong. With my Galente character, I like drone ships, but I like them for an entirely different reason. I don't like them for convenience. I always found that they're very inconvenient. You always forget them. You have to make sure you still have them. They're the only weapon you can kind of really easily lose track of and end up forgetting. Always found that they were more inconvenient than convenient. Do we already loot it? Oh, we were salvaging him. We weren't salvaging. We didn't salvage. Wait, what? Oh, there we go. Now we got it. Set destination, and off we go. Don't get me wrong, the Tristan has always been a good ship. It's a Galente drone ship. It's always been a good frigate. And it's one of the best frigates, honestly. One of the best frigates. Just because you're probably early in the game and the drones can probably make a lot of use of what can be used at a greater degree by someone who's new than any other weapon. But a player versus a drone ship, I don't know. Unless they're ECM drones. Because you can just shoot the drones. I mean, if you don't know you can shoot the drones, then I could see you being in trouble. Right? But you can just shoot the drones.
Drive active.
If I had to say, if you had like a destroyer that wasn't a drone ship, right? And a drone ship that was a destroyer, right? That destroyer who's a drone ship, to some degree, needs to be fully stocked on drones and sending out drones as they're destroyed. Albeit I'm not really sure there's that many drone destroyers. I don't play much Galente. I have one character who's Galente and stuff like that, or Minmatar. So, and I don't think, and to be honest, I play just a lot of Caldari characters, and they don't really use drones at all. So maybe I'm a little biased toward missiles and hybrid turrets, but I know artillery would sound cool from Minmatar. Minmatar is one with their artillery always sound really neat. But I always found drone ships are much better against AI than players, or if players are in a busy environment, drone ships can be really good. Like if you had a big battle, right? If you had a huge battle, right? I could see a drone ship doing good because nobody's looking to shoot your drones. They're looking to shoot you. There's too many things going on for them to realize they need to be shooting at your drones, right? So I take that back in if you're dealing a large battle, right? If you're doing something large, you might be able to get away with a lot of drones because you may either have too many drones for them to really deal with or something like that. So, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a master theory crafter at this because most of my experience is on the industrial side of EVE and some of the ratting. I've been wanting to suspect hunt, but I really I've gone out on suspect hunts, and every suspect I'm running into are kind of new guys. So I really don't want to blow. I don't want to blow them up because generally it's like a new guy in a Corvette. It's like a new guy in a Corvette. So I don't blow them up or attack them because I'm like, well, I mean, they don't even know. Like I run into suspect miner in a venture, right? I'm like, I could come back in something and blow you up. Right? Or I could just blow him at this time, blow him up, and he doesn't even realize that he's mining with a suspect tag, meaning not only can he get attacked freely, right? Let's see. Granted item, just to mine some tritium. Do we still have any? Hold on. Can we reprocess this last bit? Right, that's that one timer. I don't think that's gonna be 300. No, just 200. How much tritium do we have now? Probably still not enough. We got another venture, which would be good if we lost it, but I don't think that scrap iron is gonna give us enough. Oh no, yeah, it's gonna give us enough. Reprocess. Complete mission. Wait, what? It's only 333, right? Do they need to be together? We have 800 tritium. Oh, because we need. I think this is one where we have to complete mission. Part of the objective is going to the location. I think that's what it is. Part of the thing is going to the location. Let's check on that ship though. We should be able to finish that one mission. Jobs, deliver, and then we can finish the industry career mission. Okay. Now before we continue any more of his missions, let's finish this one. So he basically wants us just to go. I think he just wants us to go and do that one real quick. So let's undock. Let's undock. I don't know. Someone out there probably has some spreadsheet. That's basically, if you're playing Eve right, a lot of times, like if you're playing Eve, what by right I'm saying kind of like what, like the joke about what the way to play Eve. Like there's kind of like the joke about how Eve is played, right? Mine the ore and reprocess them at 300. Is it this one? Hold on, let me dock again.
Docking permission requested.
Maybe I just need to leave and come back. Because this isn't one with a specific location. Doesn't need to be in my cargo hold. I think it might need to be in my cargo hold. That could be the hold on. It could be one of those missions where it just wants me to have it in my cargo hold. Yeah? Yeah, nope, I guess so. I guess it wants us to go actually mine rather than just, okay, so yeah. Mine the ore, reprocess it, and drop it off at that location. Add waypoint. It's from this system too. That's the funny part. And we have to reprocess it. So we'll do that. Normally I thought I could just give them the 333 tritium. It seems like they really want us to actually go mine. An asteroid belt, I guess. Warp 2.
Warp drive active.
Let's just go to the first belt. So that's basically, we just need to mine some, hold on. We need to get, maybe it's the fact that it's wanting me to actually refine that much. Something to give me 333. So it wants me to mine enough tritium that would give me 333. Also, one other tip I would give you is to set destination. Hold on, what's here? Wait, where are we? Why do we have 2,000 tritium there? What's Jovo on 3? I don't know what's going on there, but doesn't really matter. What's the closest giant space container? Not really worried about that. Giant containers. Oh, not Scordite. I want Scordite. And Scordite's cool, but we're not doing Scordite. Did they literally just leave Scordite? They just left Scordite. Scordite's good. That's the funny part. Scordite's good, but they're gonna. Like, I don't think our mission's gonna care. I think it wants us to mine Veldspar. Refine Veldspar ore into tritium. You know what? Let's try. Why not? I mean, that gives us tritium. Let's try. It's funny going back to these starter missions. I've done them so many times with some of my other characters because in order to try to get reputation with everybody, which really in hindsight was kind of I don't really know if that's actually the best use of your time. doing that, going back and trying to do that. Because something like the Sisters of Eve epic arc will be able to get you relation with one of the teams, a pretty big relation boost with no negative to any of the other teams, if I remember correctly. So that might be a little bit better of a proposition. So we're going to be mining for just a second here. Till we get enough in our ore hold to make 333. So basically, I think that they go in units. If we look at here, Master Scorodite should be pretty good, 10%. It's actually a good haul. I mean, don't get me wrong, Master Scorodite's good haul for starters. If you can't get, if you're too nervous to kind of go to somewhere where you can get plagioclase and pyroxers, Massive Scorodite is probably the second best thing because you get pyrite, which is something you'll need a lot of anyway. So units 3 process 100. So for every 100, we're gonna get 165 units of tritium and 99 units of pyrite. I don't know if it's going to count for the mission though, which could be unfortunate. I don't know if maybe there's something else it wanted us to do too, but we'll mine a little bit. So just in case if it wants us to do some other kind of crazy thing with any particular kind of style thing, we'll have something going for us. Well, we'll go ahead and go now.
Warp drive active.
But I was always one of my intent is to help, as to maybe use kind of as to through the corporation kind of let Omar drive a few of the ships. What do you call it? From my other characters on this account to possibly have them do some suspect hunting on stream or something along those lines, or even some ratting.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
So it would be neat to actually get an opportunity to do that stuff. Also, just watch out because someone might put out a secured container to get you to get yourself a suspect flag on you. Someone might try to trade with you and try to do it that way to get yourself to get a suspect tag, and then blow you up. So just be careful, because I've noticed a lot of people setting out things, and I'm thinking that's what they're trying to do is fish for. Hold on. Let's see if beforehand it works. Nope. It's going to be kind of picky with what I use. What are more mission objectives? Mine ore, refine for it, reprocess 333 units of tritium. Add waypoint. Hold on, I think that maybe there's a specific one, and then I'm missing it big time. I think that maybe that there's something I'm missing. That there is a specific ore and something we may have run into a little bit of a. I don't think we've run into any kind of. I don't think we've run into a quest bug. I don't think so. I've never had any bug in Eve. I don't know if that's just me, but I've never had any kind of. Go to agent mission, read details. Oh, there we go. It wasn't a bug. I had the location dropped. I was gonna say this game's been around a while. I'd imagine a bug like that would have been obvious by now, but it seems like I'm the I'm the bug. Let's see. Go ahead and mine this real quick. Let's find that tritium. Where is it? It's probably... Oh, it's the only thing in the space with us. Let's lock onto it and use F1, F2. I think I could actually... Can I pair these two? No, I cannot. I cannot group them. But suspect hunting is something that I want to probably get on stream. But what do you call it? The big problem with if you're wanting to hunt actual pirates versus suspects is suspects are more likely going to be in something where you can reliably, because EVE Online, to be honest, is not about necessarily fighting people in pitched battles, like going, okay, we're both going to come here and with agreements. It's EVE Online is a game heavily oriented toward ambushes and wars. Now you can have big battles, right? But they're not always going to be battles that like they had planned, if that makes any sense. Like you'll have you'll have like a, if you look at kind of like the world, kind of like the EVE equivalent of world wars you've had throughout history, right? There are some degree where you could argue they're like pitched battles, but normally they're not. They're not in the same way that you would conventionally think of being a pitched battle. By that I mean is it's not like they both agree on terms and they show up at a battlefield and they recall it. They do a lot of times. It's I showed up when recall it. You forgot. Your Titan got lost and recall it, and I'm taking advantage of it getting lost to jump on it, and now you're having to send people out to save it. I wouldn't say that's a pitched battle. I don't know. Maybe I'm having the wrong definition of what a pitched battle is, but to me, that's what EVE's about. It's someone makes a mistake, and then everyone jumping onto it. Then the other people trying to fix. Oh, no, hold on. I was going to have them illegally attack the asteroid. Hold on. Engage target. Engage target. There you go. Oh, and let's take some from them. Alright, cool beans. Now let's go ahead and run off with the stuff we have back to at waypoint, or not waypoint. Maybe at waypoint? No, it's not really working. General Agvanius, let's just warp to it. Oh, hold on. Actually, speaking of, hold on. Let's get the stop stall. This is what I talk about with the drones. Okay, they're returning. They're returning. Good. Oh no, I just launched them again. I was like, what do you want? The drone's like, what do you want? Do you want me to come back? Do you want me not to come back? What do you want? Drone ships can be really cool. Just to me, like I always liked them when I'm like the larger ships, like the idea of larger ships having drones. Because you get like the larger ships, I think can even get like fighters and things like that. Right? Small ships can be fun to have drones with. But I oftentimes when I'm flying something kind of small, I kind of avoid it, just because I don't want to I want to have that maneuverability. I don't want to be tied to something that if I leave, I'm losing money. Okay, that's gonna not send me straight to it because I pressed dock rather than jump 0. But I think we're okay in Acavanius. And yes, now we need it in our cargo hold rather than in the inventory, I think.
Docking permission requested. Docking
there you go. We're docking.
Accepted.
Everyone has their favorite. Some people don't like missiles because there's ways to outrun missiles or avoid missiles. Like by outrun missiles, I mean they basically go straight away from the missile ship and then it run out of flight time. So there are times in which missiles have problems, or even hybrid turrets or other things, like if they're kind of built. We're just going to throw that on because it's a free book. We call it. So there are times in which every weapon, some people might make fun of artillery because then they show up real close and they just spin around them, and then artillery has terrible tracking. So you can make fun of any weapon. You can make fun of missiles. You can fly away from them. You can make fun of drones because they're hard to keep in track of. You can make fun of you can make fun of hybrid weapons because they do either kinetic and thermal rather than one or the other. So it's kind of not good. It's not good at anything in particular. It's just kind of middle. middle of the round. Whereas something like lasers or projectile, you can kind of determine one thing it is, or missiles even you can determine one kind of damage. So there's definitely positives and negatives to every weapon type, but that's just me. That's my personal outlook on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. We finished up more of the tutorial. We haven't gotten through all the tutorial missions yet. Again, this is mostly for newbies. Probably my idea is once we're done with all the tutorial missions and giving you a little bit of a taste of all the missions that are available in EVE Online, kind of the general idea. I'll probably might do one quick run over with basically what they equate into missions. Like if you look at agents, the agency, you go to actual mission agents, they're going to come down to mining, distribution, R&D, and locator. I never really messed with R&D and locator agents. I'm sure that there could be cool stuff with them. Never really messed with them. I want to do R&D, and I'm setting up a character just for R&D agents. I don't know exactly if that's going to go. I've done mining missions. I don't know if I'd recommend them, other than just you can get paid to mine, but then you could also get paid to mine by just selling the ore if you know what you're doing. So if that's all you like doing is mining, then that's a way to get your reputation up. That's all I gotta say. It's a way of getting your reputation up, and still do with what you may like to do if that's mining. Distribution agents are the fastest. You can do those. I'd say the easiest and fastest to do, because just moving stuff, kind of like what we've been doing in the tutorial missions. And security agents is blowing stuff up. Probably, it's basically ratting with a purpose rather than ratting general areas by scanning them down. They'll tell you where to go. They'll tell you everything. It's basically kind of simpler ratting, but with you might not necessarily be fighting what you necessarily want to be fighting, and you're going to get a reputation situation with with something rather than just hurting pirate reputation. By helping the Caldari securities agents, you might make another faction unhappy or stuff like that. So keep that in mind. So hope you guys enjoyed. And then after we kind of go overview those, we'll probably try to do some suspect hunting or something like that. We'll see, depending on what we do, or even some hauling. I have to move some money from other characters onto this character if we're going to do hauling for collateral, but I don't know. We'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope everything goes really well for you guys, for everybody out there. And I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Bye.